Good morning and welcome to ELA for today. Today is April 9th, 2021, and it is so nice to see those smiling faces first thing in the morning. It's such a great way to start my day. Thank you for that. Today we are going to continue talking about the concept that we have been learning about in ELA. And I'd like for someone to share that concept with all of us to refresh ourselves and to start out strong. So, who knows what we have been learning about for the last week and a half, 2 weeks? And at this point, they would be raising a hand and sharing that with me. So, Alicia was so kind to tell us that we have been learning about theme, and she told us the definition of theme. Alicia says that theme is the lesson that the author is teaching us, which I 100% agree with her. It is the lesson that the author is teaching us. And that was a great definition. But there was a little bit more that we learned. We learned how to find out what the theme is. So, what do we need to figure out as the reader what this author is trying to tell us? Somebody share out what we need. It's really important from that text. That's what's really going to develop that theme. So, who knows this part? And again, at this point, they would be sharing out. So, Jaden had a perfect explanation, and she's telling us that the author gives us key details from the text to create that theme. And she's absolutely correct. And I know that some of you said it in different ways, but I really like that key details word. It really focuses and it makes our brain stop and say, details key, really important. So that was a great job, Jaden. So it's the key details that create the theme. Now, theme is a little tricky, and that's why we've been going over different ideas and different methods and different strategies to help us, the reader, figure out exactly what the theme is, because it's really tough sometimes to figure out and really understand what that author is trying to tell us. So today we are going to be working with one of my favorite authors. Her name is Jacqueline Woodson, and I know for a fact that some of you have read her books. One of my favorites is Locomotion, and I know that you guys are familiar with her books. Locomotion, I've seen a couple of them in your story list when you're doing your reading log. So I know that you guys are pretty familiar, some of you are pretty familiar with this author. But we're not going to be looking at an entire book. We're going to instead focus on a certain part of a book. And the book that we're going to be using that Jacqueline Woodson wrote is called Brown Girls Dreaming. And we're going to focus on a particular poem called A Girl Named Jack. Now, when we've been working with theme and finding the theme of a text, we have been using the strategies and we have been trying to focus on pulling the key concept. You're going to be doing the same thing with the poem. We're going to, first and foremost, we're going to read it. And again, good readers always reread, read, and sometimes even reread that story to really get a good understanding, a good grasp as to what that author is trying to tell us. So again, remember, first strategy is to read, reread, and sometimes even reread 3 and 4 times. I do it myself. That's what good readers do. So you're going to use the strategies that we've been discussing. And again, of course, you're going to read it. And the next thing you're going to do is I need everybody to go into your assignment list, and you're going to pull up this graphic organizer, because once we have read it, now we're going to complete the assignment that I'm looking for you to do. Okay, you're going to pull up this graphic organizer, okay? And you'll notice that it's set up the same way we did all the other work in class, okay? The theme is in the center, and then the key details is off to the side. Now, If you are more comfortable doing it on paper pencil like this, you are more than welcome to do that. But if you are the type where you like to use your computer, by all means, you can just pull up that file and you can do it directly on the computer as well. Okay, so whatever you are more comfortable with. Okay, so you're going to need this graphic organizer, and again, in the assignments, you're going to pull up a Girl Named Jack poem so that you have it in front of you. Now, let's go back to what I said about the read and the rereading. Now, some of you have your computer allows you to listen to the story and follow in this case, my bad, not a story, a poem. You're going to listen to the poem and you're going to be following along. If that is something that helps you, that's a strategy, then you go ahead by all means and you use that strategy and you listen and you follow along. Now, when you are completing this graphic organizer, sometimes, and we did this together, remember the ones that we did in the past, when you're finding the theme and what you think is the theme, when you're pulling those key details out, you may stop and say to yourself, that is not what that author is trying to say. That is not the lesson that he's trying to teach us. So that means you're going to go back and you're going to change your theme if you feel your key details are not supporting that theme. Remember, you learn, you edit, and you learn again, okay? So you're going to find the theme, pull the key details, and I am looking for 10 key details, okay? And then you're going to reread. When you are all done with this assignment, again, don't forget to use your strategies that we did. Remember your common theme bookmarks. We created those, we edited those. You're going to use your guiding questions, graphical resource that we created together, and you're going to use, of course, the reading and the rereading to create this. When you are all done, and I'm going to be checking in with some of you, but when you are all done, we're going to come back together and we're going to edit. We're going to discuss where you may edit what you have. Okay, so at this point, I would be dismissing the students to go work. I would be giving them maybe about 20-25 minutes, and I would be checking on certain individual students to check to make sure that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they are okay with going. Now, before I would dismiss them, again, I would ask and clarify to make sure that everybody understood and knew what they were doing and everybody had their resources. So now at this point, we're all going to come back together and we're going to go over the next step. Okay, so it is very nice to have everybody back together with us, and we're going to go over the theme and we're going to create a graph. I'm going to create this for you, and I'm going to use your information. You're going to share with me what you thought the theme was, and you're going to tell me the key details. So at this point, I'm going to be asking you to share out. Now, once we have created this together and the students have edited their own graphic organizer, because some of them are going to fly through this and really get this, and others are going to have to go back and edit what they did. And that's okay, because their theme is a very hard concept for them. So they're going to need to go back and redo it and edit their own work, which is how they learn. So now that everybody is back together and we have our theme and our key details, and we have quite a few different ideas for theme, which I think were great. Is the name really important? Don't judge a person by their name. I absolutely, some of these were really great, and I love the way you guys pulled the details to support what you feel is the theme and what it ultimately is the theme. Now we're going to take this a step further. For your exit ticket today, you're going to create a summary using 10 to 15 key details, keywords, not the whole detail. You don't have to, if you wrote a sentence for your key detail, you do not have to use the whole sentence. Just pull out 10 to 15 words and create a summary of what that poem was about. Okay, so that's your exit ticket for today. Once you've completed this, you are good for today's lesson. Again, any questions? Everybody knows what they're doing for their exit ticket. The exit ticket is located in the assignments category. And again, you're looking for keywords now. You had key details, now you're just looking to nitpick and pull those keywords out to create a summary. What are the keywords that create that theme so that you can create the summary? Okay, so now they have completed the lesson. They read the poem. They we talked about the theme. We pulled out key details, and they then went on to create the exit ticket, which is a summary using only the keywords from their key details. Now we're going for differentiation instruction. That's when they were doing their independent work is when I would be asking and really focusing on my students who are struggling with comprehension, because theme is a hard concept to begin with. So I would be asking these students prompting questions such as, what is the author's objective? If that is their objective, show me, prove to me, where is the evidence? I also might use a visualization technique, which is where some students have a hard time taking what they know and putting it in words. So, which is why I like to use a visual where they draw a picture of what they read or what they think the theme is. And sometimes in the picture, those key details come out, and then they get that aha moment because it's there. You just have to find a different way to pull it out of certain students. So that's why I like to use pictures. I like to use guiding prompt questions for me, but I really find that the pictures really help those struggling students, because again, to get them to write it on paper is not the easiest thing for some of them to do. So I hope you enjoyed my lesson, and thank you for your time.